Episode 5. The Show. Last we left off, you were sitting at your normal table, watching the newcomers enter. And the hunters standing up, looking like they are moving towards them. Have you made your decision? I see. Well, this will be interesting. You sit back in your chair, placing your hands carefully under the table, holding your hand crossbow, with the safety on, just to watch the show. The two hunters, Willup and Hugh, seem to be slowly making their way over to the other side. The tall female mountain-born clocks them as she yells in a deep feminine voice, "Chalice! North side! 2 of..." Before she could finish the sentence, the doors burst open and 2 more hunters from the party rush in, slashing at the tall female. One misses and goes stumbling, falling onto the floor in front of her, kinda dazed, while the other hunter lands a true strike, straight down on the left shoulder. Thick blackish red blood pours out of the wound as the mountain blood spills onto the floor. The female turns. Quicker than someone her size should, shoving the man back through the door with one punch right square in the jaw. The sword reverberates onto the wooden floor. Chalice, the bubbly one, spins, clocking the two approaching, with their swords drawn now. "Not today, boys. You need to have a better drop than that. Or more men." With a flash of a blink of an eye, 2 daggers appear in the men's throats. As their blood gushes out, you can hear the choking of the air as they clasp their neck and hit the floor. Chalice looks at the party she is with. "Please take a seat. We will be eating and drinking before we go." She turns on her toes, and almost like she is skipping down the stairs. The one hunter who fell is finally getting up off the floor and drawing what looks like a heavy crossbow. But all of a sudden, a crossbow bolt penetrates the right side below right below his left clavicle, dropping him to his knees, arms swung down, letting go of the heavy crossbow. As he looks down and sees the crossbow bolt buried into his heart, the mountain blood looks up right at you, sitting there, as you sip your garlic apple ale. As you kick your feet up onto the table, leaning back into the shadows so that they don't see your face. Chalice looks at the tall female with her bubbly voice. "Well, I wasn't wrong. There are no assassins, but merely bounty hunters. They are not that good after all." She skips back up the stairs towards the group. Gorlock looks at the tall female, and with his utterly rough voice, "Before I serve you, clean this stuff up," pointing at all the bodies, even the ones on the second floor. The tall female points at the man on the ground. "That one is not mine." Gorlock cracks his neck a little. "My establishment, my rules, and only good food for miles. Take the 3 and toss them in the back. of the place. That's the deal. Chalice from top looks over the railing. Love, just do what the man says. I'm hungry. And so are these three. You still sip your ale as you watch the removal of the three bodies, as Gerlach shoves a chef's special in front of you. Your stomach will turn. Take my advice. Leave town, as Gerlach walks back down to behind the bar. Thoughts of what would happen if you stayed in town? The hunters would not like their buddy's dead, and that crossbow bolt is actually yours. What will you do? Leave town? Or stay and find out what will happen? As the camera pans over to a farm outside. The farm is nice and quiet this time of day. The two suns beating down tell you that it is lunchtime, and the bell from the tomb lets you know it is actually lunchtime. On the farm, you have a couple of farmhands, and one of them looks at you. Here you go, boss. A nice glass of unsweetened tea. You nod of approval, tells that boy he is doing a good job. You think he should go to the tavern today for a hot lunch, or just munch on some carrots? The crunching of carrots breaks the silence that fills the town as you watch the strangers roll up in the carriage and two horses. The one, tall black leather cloak, with a great sword strapped to their back, but couldn't get much more than that. But the other one, on the other horse, looks oddly familiar to you. The brown, old cloak doesn't hide the silver-laced leather riding gloves, with a golden sword hilt to the side of the rider. Reminds you of the royal guard of the Silver Mammoth monasteries. But why would they try to look like a beggar or a servant behind a noble's carriage? But the symbol on the reins of the horse notes something of your past in the monastery before you left, for your own reasons. You keep close to your heart. There are so many questions you need to ask yourself as you crunch on that carrot. Will you walk over to the tavern or stay your distance? Stay tuned and follow for episode 6.